The tellers agree in their tallies that the total number of votes cast is 433, of which the Honorable Jim Jordan of the state of Ohio has received 199. The Honorable Hakeem Jeffries of the state of New York has received 212.
Far-right Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan falling short again in his quest to become Speaker of the House as 22 Republicans break with the party over serious concerns about Jordan's judgment and leadership potential. Jordan has already pledged to run again, even though he did worse in his second try than he did on his first. And as Team Jordan grows desperate to keep their voters in line, Jordan's closest allies are turning to threats and intimidation to try and force Jordan into the speakership. Here's Republican Congressman Don Bacon.
It made us mad, and it backfires. You can win us over. Some of the younger folks maybe that kind of works, but someone like me, Steve Vollmack, Mario Diaz-Balart, you can win us over with an argument that makes sense. You're going to have to convince us, right? And threatening us does not work.
But it gets worse, because Jordan's team hasn't just been harassing his fellow Republican lawmakers. Jordan's people have also been harassing lawmakers' wives. Yeah, we're reaching new levels of scumbaggery from the House MAGA caucus. In one text message sent to Don Bacon's wife, an anonymous sender accuses Bacon of not being a, quote, team player, and promises Bacon will never hold office again. In a show of total Republican chaos, Bacon confirmed his wife's story to NBC News, saying that Jordan's tactics haven't been restricted to just Bacon and his wife. Apparently, multiple Republicans and their families have received calls and messages demanding they show loyalty to Jim Jordan. Yikes. And if you watched my Wednesday video, which should be linked somewhere on the screen here, you'll remember I said that Jim Jordan has the unique honor of having never passed a single law during his entire 17 years in Congress. As it turns out, I was actually wrong. Sort of. Not only has Jordan never passed a single law, not a single one of his bills has even been placed into discussion in any committee or on the floor of the House. Not a single one. By the numbers, that makes Jim Jordan one of the least effective lawmakers in all of American history. But as Mitt Romney points out, Jim Jordan doesn't really think of himself as a lawmaker, more like a troublemaker. And troublemakers can't be bothered with things as boring as passing laws.
Jim Jordan represents a small part of the party, but a very vocal part of the party, and they've been calling the shots. He's probably not the first choice I would have made, but it's not my choice. It's up to them. Whether he'll get the job or not, I don't know. But if he does get the job, it'll be a case of the dog catching the car, which is what happens then. I mean, there are people in my party who go to Washington to bark, to make noise, not to make law, but to make noise. I think Jim Jordan would call himself one of those who's got a lot to say and is loud and barking.
Jim Jordan better be careful. As we know from history, Mitt Romney really isn't good with dogs. In the past, Jordan has said any candidate who clearly doesn't have the votes to win should bow out after a single round. Jordan is about to be on his third try, and there are early indications that even more Republicans plan to desert him on Thursday afternoon. At least, that's what Republican Congressman Mike Lawler thinks.
Look, it's clear he doesn't have the votes. Obviously, it's up to him if he wants to put it to a third ballot. I think you'll see more folks dropping off on a third ballot. Here, there was a net loss of 2 for people who previously voted for him flipped, and 2 that didn't flip back. But I don't see the outcome changing here. And so the question for Jim and for the conference is, how do we get back to work?
Oh yeah, in case you forgot, this whole time the House has been leaderless, and it's also been closed for business. Without a speaker, no legislation can come to the floor, and lawmakers can't work on bills that come in from the Senate either. In short, it's getting chaotic real fast over there in the People's House. Jim Jordan doesn't have the votes to win, but the rest of the GOP doesn't have the power to force Jordan out of the race. A dysfunctional Republican Party is now stuck in a dangerous gridlock as a federal shutdown inches closer. If Jordan runs and loses on Thursday afternoon, he'll likely face overwhelming pressure from House Republicans to step aside. That could trigger another, even more unstable phase of the GOP civil war. At this point, the rest of the country is just along for the ride. If you thought that was wild, check out this video. And as always, leave a comment below so you can let me know what I should cover next.